How's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well today. Get my window open here. I'll look at my phone today, too, from the questions. But just let me know if everything's sounding good. Where's my window? Okay, good. All right, so today I am going to dig deeper into the minor pentatonic scale. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, I would say, not do it right now, but you want to go back and check out my previous video on the minor pentatonic scale. And in that one, I just talked about breaking down the scale into one string at a time and then just kind of connecting the scale fingerings and seeing the scale very horizontally as opposed to just seeing it vertically, right? Because we're always so used to seeing the scale in positions, right? Right, guys? Oh, by the way, everyone, the new camera, thank you all. You guys have been super generous with the tips, and I'm just turning it back around. So hopefully the video should sound, the video should look really good. Someone's telling me there's no jam track in the link. There should be, but we will, if there's anything missing, I will absolutely take care of it. One-man show, it looks like it's there. Sometimes this happens. I put it in Dropbox and it's there, and then sometimes it just seems to have disappeared. But anyway, we'll get back to that. All right. So first thing is we want to look back. So just to kind of a little bit of a review of last week, I just went to A minor pentatonic and I ran up and down the neck in the one fingering up and down the other, right? Okay. Okay, hold on one second. I am going to see what's going on in this Dropbox link. We're doing it live. I am looking at the Dropbox link right now, and it's got everything in it. I don't understand. Oh, no, it doesn't. That's weird. Hold on. All right, I'm going to get a new, I'm going to share this, and I'm going to get the new link so you guys have it live. I seem to do this all the time. Okay, so I am going to send it to Phil on his phone right now, and I'm going to put it live. So hopefully this will take care of that. So I don't know how this keeps on happening. All right. I'll get it straight one of these days. I play guitar. Now I'm a video guy. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys. That link should be good. That's the latest one. It seems like I shared it. I don't understand. That's the public link for that. Please let me know, and if there's a problem, I'll sort it out after this, okay? I just want to make sure that everybody's that's got that. All right, so thanks. Let me know. All right, so running back through it again. They're going through the minor pentatonic scale. So today, you can watch the video from last week. There's a ton of stuff in it. Hi, Richard. How you doing? There's a ton of stuff in it about learning how to see how the scale functions both horizontally and vertically, like I said. So today, what I want to do is talk about, none of this stuff has been a pentatonic scale as a blues scale, right? Because we're not there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like we all kind of have a grasp of that, right? It's the blues scale. You can play blues licks. I'm going to jump back to A minor. I'm in D for that last track, but everything seems to be we have our standard blues licks. We want to try to upgrade from that or add to that. Upgrade sounds a little pompous. Okay, so the first thing I could think about is different melodic patterns. So here's a good melodic pattern. So we're thinking, I like the idea of, just check this out, guys. So I'm just A minor pentatonic. So I'm just going to play my higher note. Look at this, like the higher strings and the lower two strings and the higher strings and the lower two strings. So this. I'm going to play those two together. I'm going to change up my track to A minor just so it'll follow the handouts. So I'm going to play those. I'm going to start thinking about the track in that sense, or soloing with the A minor pentatonic using those kind of notes, or that kind of pattern. Right, so. So you see what I'm doing? Like, break those up. I'm just going to play them straight up, like so this way. All right, now. All right, so now I'm going to play this pattern. I'll go up one and down the other. So I didn't write these out. You can watch them. So that pattern right there. Right, so that's that pattern. The first thing I did was, so I'm just kind of messing with that. So how about up, like down this one melodically, then up the next one, then. So let's hear that. There's 3 different variations. All right, a little faster. Maybe not today. Now I'm going to mix that in with some kind of bluesier licks. So it gives like a little bit more of like an angular sound to the pentatonic scale, right? It doesn't seem quite, it's not straight old bluesy lick sort of thing like that. So I'm thinking, like I said, the higher notes, well, runs that pattern like that. And that sounds cool too. I like that sound. Let's go through the whole scale, watch. Now I'm going to try to mix it in. Alright, so you see what's going on? I'm just kind of taking those same ideas, but moving around all the positions of the pentatonic scale. So that pattern is really cool. I like that. So now I can take, let's take this idea again. I'm going to take an interval inside the scale. I'm going to play the C, and I'm going to play this G. I'm going to move up to each note of the scale. Check that out. Put those all together. Pretty hip, right? All I'm doing is going from one note to the next note in the scale in the same string. Fix that. Alright, so I'm just doing the same kind of idea we talked about last week, but just getting a little more into the interval. So I'm just thinking about one string at a time. I'm thinking about the pentatonic scales. I'm just connecting them, and you see in the PDF where I give you the PDF of the full fingerboard, you can just follow two strings. Just pick two notes and go through them. Now the other ones that is really cool, it's just all minor pentatonic, watch. Okay? So right there, I'm going to play the D and the E. So I get these tighter intervals. Okay, just all A minor pentatonic. Right, so I could add that. Any string set. Right? All right, so Once again, just straight minor pentatonic scale. I mean, this is, if you spend the time, and I do this with every scale and every arpeggio, I hope, and I just try to look into everything I can possibly come up with, right? So, and it's just logical. It's not like I'm doing anything, it's creative, but you're working on your creativity, right? Because you're thinking about, well, what can here's my notes, and what intellectual way, this works for me, can I go through and start to hear these sounds and find these things? So I'm just following the scale. And when I practice these things over a track, you notice like this track, I chose these two because they're sort of nice and medium tempo. I'm not stuck into trying to play really fast, right? If I'm thinking like boom, I'm going to try to play really fast, and that's just going to mess me up because I'm not working on that right now. What I'm working on right now is finding what exists inside a minor pentatonic scale, and we found some pretty cool stuff so far. Right? Now we can start to fill those in. So like this one, I have the C and a D, right? I can start to kind of connect those things. Let's do that. It becomes part of the song, like an idea, right? All right, so I know some of that stuff reminds me of The Cure, who I love. And they had these great guitar parts where these things would come in like that, like that, and you can get those. And there's a great band, great friends of mine, the Wrens, and a really super cool guitar player, Charles Bissell, is a good friend of mine. And they would add in a lot of that kind of stuff that really like, in their tunes, like there's really jabby, tight intervals. And this is the same kind of thing. I'm just thinking. And it's all pentatonic. Now, so once again, we're seeing everything horizontally. So now let's make we've done 2 notes. So let's take 3 notes. I didn't PDF this for you, but you guys can watch it. Spoon feed all of you. All right, so I love this stuff. I have C, and then I'm going to take my G. I'm going to take this fingering, C and G, like as we did before. I'm going to play an E here. So I have actually what turns out to be a C major triad in its first inversion. So it's C major, C, E, G, A minor pentatonic, C major, the same scale. So here I have the E, C, and G. Take each note from the scale and move it up to the next note. So the C, A minor pentatonic is A, C, D, E, and G. So the C moves up to the D, that G moves up to the A, and the A moves up to the C. No, I'm sorry, the E moves up to the G. So this, right? And then each note moves up. So the E to the G, C to the D, G to the A. Pretty cool, pretty open, Hendrixy. That kind of sound. Now each note's going to move up to the next note in the scale, so the G moves up to the A, this D moves up to the E, the E moves up to the C. A moves up to the C. It's live. That's actually A minor, A, C, E. And then this A is going to move up to the C. This E, C moves up to the D, C moves up to the D again. So now. So I get this cool. Let me rephrase that. I'm just kind of blowing through this too fast. A to C, E to G, thank you, C to D. That same shape moves up again. So this C to the D, A, then you have their E on top, then this moves up once again. and we're back at our beginning. So you hear guys like Eric Johnson do this all the time. So like a, you get that A in there. So 3-note pentatonic chords. So let's hear that on that track. And I resolved it there. Now you move it in the second set of strings. Same exact chord idea. Now I'm going to put it all together. That's a lot at once. So let me run through. That's kind of all I want to show you today on an intellectual thing. So the first thing we ran over was just kind of thinking about a little wider of an interval, right? And an exercise we can do for that is just run through each pentatonic fingering with that. So let's just hear that. This is an exercise. Oop, wrong track. Let's stare at heaven again. All right, so we have this, right? So. Next position, right? Cool picking stuff too. I'm just alternate picking on that. Now if I do this one, I'm hybrid. I got something here. All right. So just playing with that idea. I like, oh, mistake, but sounded good. Play D minor there. Oops. So the first lick. Now the second idea, we're going to play the 2 strings at once. Play those intervals. And I made a mistake. Work it. So watch the pentatonic chords. Right in the pentatonic scale. Intervals, those tighter ones. I didn't play, except for a few mistakes here and there. That was all minor, A minor pentatonic, the whole thing. So when I started seeing stuff like that, now, it really opened up my my mind to what a pentatonic scale is. And I always thought, it's blues. I have to play pentatonic and playing blues. And that is completely not the case. So, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at questions at the same time. So the sounds are great. So you can experiment with them in different keys. But just start with A minor, because A minor and E minor, if we look at the difference between A minor pentatonic and E minor pentatonic, it's only one note different. A minor pentatonic is A, C, D, E, and G. E minor pentatonic is E, G, A, C, D, E. So the only note that is different between the two, E minor pentatonic doesn't have a C, it has a B instead of the C. So if you look at that, like you even want to go up and down one string, you're going, hey, wow, I just have to change one note and I'm in E minor pentatonic. So you start to think less about the fingerings and those box positions, and you just start to think about the notes, and you just start to play music, and you start to play guitar, and you just see how these things connect. It's like a piano player, they have the good fortune of just seeing everything in a straight line, and we have 6 straight lines. We try to put these things together, and it makes it very difficult for us to as guitar players. So we luck out in the sense that here's A major, I want to play an A flat, I just go down a half step, I'm good to go. But when you're thinking about scales, it becomes very difficult. So if I just start seeing the scale horizontally as well as vertically, and if I get out of the mindset that a pentatonic scale is a blues scale, that is a really important thing to think about, because none of that sounded like blues until I started playing bluesy. Now, I started playing bluesy as a response to some of the other stuff, right? And that's kind of I don't say not cliche, but sort of a cliche, I see the question. I'll get right to that in a second. So, yeah. Right, so I played a blues lick, and then it's right straight to that rubby interval. Right? Right? So I can really put those all together. That sounds pretty bluesy, right? All right, so Thomas Moore, the big question that you're popping out here, which is cool. Are you thinking about notes or patterns in the scale? And do you use this in all scales? I'm thinking about, that's Thomas Moore, it's a great question. Yes is the answer. So at first I'm thinking about patterns because it's just easier to work that way with the way we, as guitar players, we have the luxury of many things being patterns. So it's just a goal, like a means to an end. So if right now you're working on fingerings and patterns, and that gets you to these sounds, then spectacular. Ultimately, what I'm thinking about is that I have to sneeze. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Just waiting for it. Okay. Then I start thinking about the notes, and that's really where you want to get to. Now, somebody actually had shot me an email, and if you want to have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email through my website. I would happy to answer you back. He had asked, I'm having trouble learning the names of the notes. Should I learn the names of the notes, or should I learn the scale degrees, like the root, flat 3, root, flat 3, 5, 4, flat 7, all that stuff? And my answer is both, ultimately, because you want to hear what a flat 7 sounds like. If I'm playing A minor and I'm out of tune, I'll get that. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Nothing people like hearing more than tuning. So it's important to know both, right? One string at a time. You're just seeing the notes. And an A minor pentatonic, man, is A, C, D, E, and G. It is A, C, D, E, and G. Just memorize that and then start working through A, C, D, E, and G. And I start to connect them. And please do this. I gave this stuff to you in A minor. If you want to start working with other keys, write them out like I did. Like just print out the PDF. You can get that online. Just Google fretboard diagram. And then just write them in. I do this still if I want to maybe kind of experiment, like the modes of melodic minor, I'm not as 100% of those as I am with the pentatonic scale. So sometimes I write it out, and I like the overall visual. It's like, you see the traffic jam. You can say, oh, look, there's a little cool fingering idea I may not have thought about before. So those are things I look for. And if you look at the chords that we've done, you can see how they move, right? If you just take one shape, right, and then you just move each note of that to the next note in the scale, as I said before. And hold on, I'm gonna tune for reals. All that bar stuff. This guitar stays in tune great for all that. Yeah, it's that G string. Notice that I'm taking this off the headstock because you don't play gigs with that on a headstock. All right, so I look at the shape that I had, and I just follow it up each string, like I said in the diagram. Just follow, use that thing as a guide for yourself. If you're not so familiar on the guitar yet, and you can see how everything connects. I can do any kind of shape. I'm gonna do the 6th string, 4th string, and the 3rd string. Beautiful C major triad. Okay, so now for A minor pentatonic, each note's gonna go up to the next note in the scale. Kind of cool, little low in the end there. Beautiful. Nope, sorry, I messed that up. And these are just pentatonic scales. No, I'm messing that up. Let's try it again. Let's cut and start over. All right, there we go. It's been a while since I've done these. There we go. That's cool. And then we're gonna go to this one again. We're back to that. Pretty sweet stuff. So I can do that in each string set. And then the next thing that I talked about was just maybe messing around with a track like this and taking one of those ideas at a time, right? And just hearing it, just sitting in with it. That sounds great. I add the D in, that's in the scale. How about the G on top? Right? We talked about it last week, right? Watch. No mistake, but not a mistake. So there's cool notes. Right? You hear that kind of sound. It's taking one idea. An A minor pentatonic. That's it. All right. So let's see if we've got some questions. As we go through that. First of all, that chord progression just off the top of my head is just A minor. Right? Kind of going to... It's an A Dorian chord progression. And in pentatonic breakdown number 3, we're going to talk about using your pentatonic scales in a modal situation. But I want to cover this stuff first. It's really cool. All right, so I'm going to look at my phone instead of squinting at the screen and answer some questions, hopefully. All right. All right, so, oh, hey, 5 Watt World, what's up, man? How you doing? Good stuff. I am... Okay, so how many springs in the tremolo? I have 3 in the back. You can't see. This is a silent backplate, that serve silent backplate, and the pickups are throwbacks. They're 64 Strat kind of pickups from Throwback. They're really great. And I have 3 springs, and I'm setting it up the Carl Verheyen sort of way. Not the pull up as much, but I have the angled the bar. If you look at Carl Verheyen, Google Carver high and tremolo. Now he has it set so he can pull up and it stays in tune. I don't do that, you know, because I don't want it to pull up that much, because then the bar sits down too much. I have mine pulled up kind of like, you know, kind of like a whole step, so that gives me the chance to do like, you know, that Jeff Beck kind of stuff. You know, that Jeff Beck kind of stuff. Okay. I'm going to go back. Is it considered, yeah, you know, Tom Forrest, for me, you know, I grew up watching Jimmy Page and Hendrix and Van Halen, and the headstock tuner to me just looks like the guitar is so beautiful, and then you have that on there on a gig, and it kills me. It just kills me. I know. Even like the small ones, like those, okay, maybe they're hidden, but they're convenient. But man, the guitar is look at that. Why would you, you know, it's like a light bulb on the, you know, or a lamp at the end there for me. Makes me crazy, and a number of my friends too. We all kind of joke around about that. You know, what would Jimmy Page do? Is the question we. And he would not have a headstock tuner. Okay, so James Spezzano, when moving each note to next note in the scale, yes. So once again, all I'm doing is moving one note of the scale to the next note in the scale on the same string, and that gives us exactly what we did. So just a real quick look over that, you know. So I have, once again, take something really simple. I'm gonna have C and E. I'm going to move that up, and I have the D and the G. Then I have, again, there's the E and the A. And you can look at it on the piece of paper. Like I said, you want to see it, obviously, on the guitar neck, but you can see it on your piece of paper there, and that's why it's important to write these things out. And you can tell when you mess up. A lot of cool stuff that comes out of that. Okay. Can you? This is from David and Belly. Excuse me, my contact lens is all weird here. How do you know when it's best to play scales and when to play chords, or vice versa? Jamming. Is there a course specifically for this? I don't have a course specifically for this. We've talked about this kind of stuff at TrueFire, and it's going to be something I'm gonna do. As you guys might have noticed, which is fun, I'm more known in the world as sort of a blues guitar player. But as you may notice, that's not the only thing I do. In fact, I didn't grow up being a blues guitar player, although I love it. And you know, like, I love playing blues, and I like playing blues rock and blues influenced things. But I mean, I'm hugely influenced by guys like Scott Henderson and Michael Landau and Alan Halsworth and all the fusion-y guys. You know, obviously Robin and Robin and I made a conscious decision on the record we did together to not play any blues tunes, because he's like, well, you know, you can. Why do that? There's plenty of blues guitar players out there. And who, you know, and we talk about someone like Matt Schofield, who identifies himself as a blues guitar player. And yeah, I don't play like blues like that. You know what I mean? So for me, this is talking about the TrueFire stuff. So we're starting expanding out a little bit more into some other things. That's one of the things I'm really happy to do here. And I do have a course coming out with Brett Papa in whenever this kind of clears up, where I'm doing more rock stuff and teaching a song or two from my record. And here I want to take advantage of being able to go in any direction I want at any time. So these are a bit more fusion-y sounds, which I really, like I said, heavily grew up being a big fusion guy. All those UK records with Alan Halsworth and the IOU records and all the stuff I could never play. But, you know. All right, so back to the question. It keeps on reloading. I hate this app on the phone. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, if I let it close and then it just stops. All right. I'm rambling. Okay, when do I know when to play the scales or the chords, like these things that I'm playing here? I just use my ears. It's just thinking about music. And this is, I think I say this every week, and I want to really push this thought in, is that what I'm doing right now is practicing. All right, so in a gig, this may all change depending on whom I'm playing with. You know, if it's guys who are listening and they're a good bunch of players, it's going to make me think a certain way. So if I have another chordal instrument, like a keyboard player, I may play less of that, but I like playing with trios because I can just open up and do what I want. So for me, you know, right? Right, that kind of thing. Right, so it's just a musical choice. There is no, I'm not thinking about, oh, I should be doing this now. I just kind of go with what sounds good. Through practicing and making a lot of mistakes. Mistakes are huge, guys. I make them all the time, you see? And I'm unapologetic about it. It's like, who cares? It's not my record. This is just live and playing something. If I make a mistake, who cares? You're in the moment, It's not my record. I'm not going to leave a clam on the record, but I can't get upset about hitting a wrong note because what's really important to me, to a certain extent, of course, is to be in the moment. So when I'm playing, I really want to try to create something because it's my favorite thing to do. And, this is one thing. If you heard David and I speaking on Saturday, you can go back and watch that video. Same thing. It's always about creating a moment. I know Robin is very much into this too. So, all right. Ian Cox. Personally, I think intervals because I prefer to know where I am. Okay, that's in reference to knowing the names of notes and knowing the interval that the note is within the chord or in the scale. It's very important to do both. And for many years, I skipped the interval thing. I just learned the notes. But when I started to understand what, I'm playing an A chord or an A, that's a flat 3. I hear that now. Flat 7. It's pulling me back to the root, Then the 4. The 4 just sounds like the 4 to me now, but it wants to pull up to the 5. The 5 is like, power chord. Flat 3, the 5, the 4 it feels like it wants to go one or the other. They all have their own sound, so I think about that as well as the note names. The note names are important because you need to know the chord, because if you're changing keys, you want to know that. And plus you play guitar, you should just know the names of the notes on the guitar. It's like spelling your name, honestly. All right. Kelly Schatzer, yeah, it is. What's really cool about this is, and the point of obviously today and last week, is the pentatonic scale doesn't have to sound like a blues scale. It sounds like something completely different when you're thinking about it in another way. Coltrane would use this stuff all the time, and it's just a really great way to use a scale to dig deep. And this is kind of funny. People always say to me, I want to break out of the pentatonic box. And I'm like, okay, well, how about we get into the pentatonic box, and then we can start talking about getting out of the pentatonic box once you get into the pentatonic. Because the connotation is the pentatonic scale are blues licks, and that's certainly, as we're seeing, is not the case at all. Do these ideas work over 1-4-5 blues progression or just over vamp? Oh, they work over anything, yeah. So if I'm playing over a blues, just... It's a little weird. It can sound a little cool at times, but I like that, throwing that curve in. But sure, it could absolutely work over a blues. All right. When are you and Mike Zito hooking up? That would be way cool. I've never met Mike, which would probably be easy enough to do through TrueFire, so I should probably do that. He is a great guitar player. Your hardware and upgrades and video sound amazing. Oh, cool. Great. I'm glad this stuff looks and sounds better. And thank you guys. Like I said, I've just been this is just turning in. You guys have been really generous, and it's much appreciated. And I'm just turning it around, as you can see. All right. Looking through. I need someone to hand me paper with questions on it. All right, so I'm going to jump to the back here. Any questions? And I'll keep talking. Just kill my volume here. All right. I'm just turning it around. Sorry. As you can see. All right. How do you practice getting in the flow? Roman legions. Hey, Dr. Brad. Yeah. I try not. I try not to judge myself too much, which is really near impossible. Like, look, I talk to the students all the time, and they're like, I have the same hang-ups as I did years ago. I mean, I'm certainly more confident in my playing, but there's things I'm just not as confident about, or I look at other guitar players and I try not to be jealous. I'm not really jealous like I used to kind of be, because I hopefully got older and matured. I enjoy seeing a great guitar player, and it kicks my butt to make me want to become better. So I love that, like that new Jeff Beck thing that he just did with Johnny Depp. And some people are like, oh, Johnny Depp. Who cares? He sounded great. But Jeff Beck on that new recording is like 75, and he sounds amazing. And it just flips me out that he can be that good. So that inspires me to just keep on wanting to get better and better. I have the good fortune of having some really great guitar player friends, and I hear them play it. I go, geez, I just want to get better, because there's so much stuff to get better at. So what inspires me to get into the flow is just time. Like, I'll just turn off everything, distractions, man. Like, this thing is the worst thing in the world. I love it, of course, and at the same time, computers and stuff. So I really will just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, or maybe I'll just end up practicing late at night because there's less distractions. But turn off YouTube and all this and just do it. And just practice and play the same thing over and over again. Also, for me, a tone can be really inspiring. So, you guys have been super cool and complimenting on the guitar tones, and I greatly appreciate that. But I work hard, and I try not to mess around too much with it. I find something I really like, and I'm just going to work with it, right? Because we know, the tone's not right, the tone's not right. And you spend your whole night messing with that. So get the tone you like, and then just go for it and play and have some fun. And just keep on working through it. If you make a mistake, embrace the mistake and see what you can do. I made a bunch, and whatever, And then maybe there'd be like the happy mistake where you played something like, that was really freaking cool. So, all right. Tarciso, nice to see you, man. Thank you. And you've reached out to me on Facebook. And sometimes, I hate to be a bit of a pain. Sometimes people will really nicely reach out to me on Facebook. I don't check the Facebook mail all that much because I just, with Instagram and all this, I just try not to get too deep into it because it's just I love the community, but then it just kind of gets into a big pit. Okay. All right. Looking here, and I'll just start talking about some other stuff. Tom Minette, do you know what note will sound like a pitch before you play it? Is that the way here? Oh, that's a great question. So just to, will I know what something's going to sound like before I play it? Part of the time, yes, kinda, and no. I'll have a general idea, or I will know exactly what it sounds like, or sometimes I'm just going to go for it. So the general idea, if I'm going to start to improvise with the pentatonic scale using some of these kind of ideas that I've just talked about and just kind of go freely with it, I'm just going to, sometimes I'll just go for something, but I know what I'm going for fingering-wise or note-wise because I understand the things where they are in the guitar. So sometimes I'll just go for it and just see what happens. And then if something really magic happens, I try to remember, I try to stop everything and go, okay, let me get that. What was that? It's also really great to record yourself, like especially maybe on video, like QuickTime or something like that. So you can hear yourself back. And if you listen, as you listen back, you might think, oh, that was really cool. And you listen back, and you're like, that was really terrible. Or vice versa. That was really terrible. And you listen back, and you might surprise yourself. But I always look for the thing that was a surprise, and I kind of work through that. And so do I know what things are going to sound like? I know what general sounds will be, but if I'm going to play like, yeah, totally, and all those kind of stock things. But if I'll guess so I can just improvise something. Yeah. Like just kind of noodling around in pentatonic. So I will know kind of what that'll sound like. It'll sound some sort of like open or sounding pentatonic thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, I've been telling you for a while your True Fire channel will be out any day. Okay, that is, you busted me. That's my fault. Okay, I'm going to have a True Fire channel very soon. What happened was, I am a, and they get mad at me. I want it to look good. And this is going to be part of it. It was really a big deal for me. I was not happy with some of the video quality. I'm a big believer in quality. That's the honest truth, guys. I was just filming some videos. I'm like, I don't like the way this looks. I need to figure out a way to make this look better, and that's part of what I was waiting for to kind of upgrade things. So I feel like the videos would have a lifespan, and I just think that's really important. And if you look at Robin Ford's channel, he's recorded this stuff really well, and we had a really long discussion about this. That it was important to me that the quality be there. When you turn it on, you go, oh, wow. Because I had some older videos, and I'm like, I can't put that. I can't watch that video. It's horribly recorded and blah, blah, blah. So that's my answer. So what's my answer for when we'll be ending? Soon. Few weeks? Week or two? Few weeks? Okay. All right. And Richard, Abdul, I'm never that pronouncing it. I'm sorry, man. How will the channel be set up? There will be the same thing. I'll have the monthly subscription where it's just videos, and then I'll also be offering for a different price structure once a month lessons or ongoing lessons. So there's a way you can study with me there. You can also study with me privately via online. I do Zoom lessons all the time, and you can reach me through my website, jeffmcErlain.com. Okay. When you're using minor pentatonic scales with different roots, in other words, this is David Skinner. Yes, David, you're talking about playing like modally pentatonically, and that will be next week. I'm going to talk about that. Digging into using pentatonic scales is modal situations. So getting out of just playing straight old pentatonic scales, All right. That's my okay, so what is my go-to warm-up thing? So wait a minute. Somebody just Nikki saying the PayPal link isn't working. Is that right? I mean, it's just, it's so annoying. I don't know why. I just cut and paste. All right, hold on. It should be working. I'm going to put it in here. Once again, it should be here. All right, hold on. Going live with this again. All right, so here we go. I can do it on my phone. That is the tip jar link. I thank everybody so much for the tip jar. I really appreciate it. It's really, like I said, helped me do this. Oh, and while I'm on it, next week, Mark Lettieri will be here on Saturday morning. That's as far as I got to get back in touch with Mark. This is Saturday morning with Mark Lettieri, and hopefully I have figured out how to get some of the sync issue that we had. Turns out it was bandwidth, and it was really not anything I could do about it as I thought. But all right. Do more of these spotlight instrument recordings when you demonstrated your guitar. Do more of those spotlight instrument recordings like when you demonstrated your vintage guitar. That's a question? I don't know. I don't see that as a question. Okay. So yeah, right. McElvin, Jay McElvin. Yeah, I just wanted the quality. Once he's talking about the quality of the recordings, and for me, the quality of the video was really important. I just think if somebody's paying you, the voice should come. Everything should look and sound good. Okay, Carl Vasquez. Can you talk about your right hand picking technique and how you hold your fingers off the guitar? I have a tendency to rest my fingers on the guitar. Yeah, sure. Okay. I hold my pick in a regular sort of way between my thumb and my first finger, and kind of, like that. Black pick. It's going to be hard to see. Wait, no. There we go. My video is a little back on the timing. So, now, the important thing is to have a nice pick angle, and that's a big thing. I'm kind of pointing the pick at, like, I guess a 35-degree angle. I don't know. I should look at that. But like this, and that kind of slices across the string in a way that allows you to play faster, or I don't say faster, cleanly. One guy I cannot say enough about, and it was very helpful to me, was that Troy Grady, Cracking the Code. I was having a lot of problems with certain kind of licks. I'm like, let me see what his video. So I bought his video. Buy the stuff. And man, it was super helpful in terms of how he's using this pick angle and everything like that. So I don't want to go into what he talks about. Check out his things on downward pick slope and all this kind of stuff. But it's really helpful to me. So I just hold the pick the regular way, and the motion's coming from my right hand. My wrist as opposed to my forearm. But my forearm moves this way with me. I do a lot of hybrid picking, as I think Tom mentioned before, when I'm definitely doing chords. I do that all the time. And I also do economy picking, too. So that's more they can go into today. Maybe we'll make that another lockdown. I'm talking about picking and technique and things like that. But things I do think about is I sometimes turn the pick around and use the rounded side of the pick. A different sound. Tip, and then the rounded side. Right, so I'll move the pick around to get a different sound sonically. And the question about my fingers, one thing, I do often play with my fingers out, but it's super loose. They're just out. They're not, there's a bit of a guide, but there's no tension. I'm not pivoting at all or moving from my fingers at all. I'm just moving my hand right across the bridge like this. So that's the difference for that. But one thing I do want to talk about, I always think about what it sounds like when I'm picking, right? You know, am I picking like that kind of thing, or dynamics within the pick attack, right? And I notice I do a lot of upstroke picks, up picking, you know. The Matt Schofield approach. What, in terms of turning the pick around? Well, it's the everybody who I feel like, all respect due to Matt, of course, every guitar player I know who I love their tone does that. Robin does it, Mike Lando does it, Pat Metheny does it, Scott Henderson, my friends, a great guitar player in Nashville, Pat Bergeson, good friends, ridiculous guitar player, Pat Bergeson, if you don't know Pat. So it's just a really common thing. I think I remember hearing like Warren D. Martini from Rat talking about that when I was a lot younger, he used the side of the pick, and I didn't really understand what he was talking about. But it makes a big, big difference. Okay. Will Andy Alador ever be on the show? Not if I can help it. No, of course, Andy and I know each other. I'm happy to do that. This is just, thanks to everybody, this has been taking off. I'm completely overwhelmed by how many people and some of my friends, hey, I'd love to be on your show, and so I'm super psyched. So yeah, I want to keep it going past these horrible things that are going on, because it seems to be really, people are digging it. So, okay. Can I find the background for the first lesson last week on your website? No, it's the first lesson last week, it's the same track as this. This is the background track. All the tracks are still available in the Dropbox links in Dropbox. So if you go to David's thing, David's track is still available in that Dropbox. I'm keeping them in my Dropbox. Also, yeah, guys, can you subscribe to my channel? That would be, excuse me, super cool. Ring the bell, all that kind of stuff that everybody else asks you to do on YouTube. Ring the bell, subscribe, and all that. That really makes, it's great for me. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers, which really is this, those magic numbers that get you into a different realm. So with your help, I can do that. Is the sync off right now with my camera? Because this is all one-man show stuff, so I have to go into editing. I have to go into broadcasting software and figure out how many milliseconds off it is. And it's a bit of a game for me to try to figure it out. So it seems like it was pretty close, and hopefully it hasn't changed. I don't think it drifted or anything like that, but okay. What's your Max here. What's your pick thickness? I will show you exactly what I'm using. I am using I think I talked about this. It's kind of funny. I was on the hunt for a pick. That was my little pick story. It's very exciting stuff. I know we all love this stuff. Brooklyn Lockdown t-shirts. I'm working on it. Working on all of it. Okay, so it's a little out of sync. I got to figure it out. It's crazy because I dialed it in last night and it was different today. So we'll live. Okay. So I'm using D'Addario Black Ice 1.5 millimeter, which is I like the thickness, and it's a little bit thicker than a Jazz, a little bit bigger than a Jazz 3, just a hair, like just a, you know, I've got a Jazz 3 somewhere on my desk. Now, you should see the mess that you can't see off camera. All right, I can't find a Jazz 3. It's just a little bit smaller, just a little bit. Sync is off about 5 or 6 frames. So, quick question, Adam. Plus 6, or I'm at, say, 500 milliseconds right now, so yeah, it's really, I gotta figure this out. It's a lot, man. I was having this fun conversation with Corey Congelio, who's a really great friend of mine, and he's doing a live stream. He's like, man, this is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, oh, I know. We were both lamenting about how much stuff there is to get this to go right. You know what I mean? So it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's not like I'm in a Godzilla movie or something. Okay. So the Black Ice, I was using Dunlop Ultex, which I really liked, but sometimes I found on gigs they were just moving around a bit much, and I don't know. They were becoming a little problematic for me. I liked the sound of them. Then I went to the Dunlop Flows, which are really cool, but they were a little too big for me. And then I tried different Jazz 3s, and I didn't like the tone of them. So there was oh, thanks, Adam. My picture is ahead of the sound a little bit. Okay, I'll figure that out. Thank you very much. Great. Okay, so, and I was at True Fire in the last course that will be out, which I'm looking forward to because it's a lot of getting into this kind of stuff. I was looking around. I was just playing on my last course. I just wasn't loving the picks. I was just on this ridiculous pick tone journey because as guitar players, we do that. So I looked on the table, and I was like, oh, what's that pick? And it was one of Andy Timmons, which had his name. I know that because it had his name on it. And I'm a D'Addario endorser guy, and so I saw it was a D'Addario, and I just had them send over a few bags, And I love it. It's a little dark. And I gave a bunch to Brett Papa when I was down at his place, and he just texted me the other day saying, I love those picks. They're awesome. So I really like them. They're a little dark. That's okay. I like a darker sound anyway. So in any high end I might have lost from using the Dunlop Jazz 3, I can just kind of dial in on my amplifier. It's not a big deal. Okay. So that's the pick thing. And they all sound different. If I'm playing acoustic guitar, I use like a medium pick for strumming things, for recording, because a heavy pick just sounds terrible on acoustic guitar. So there's all these things, the URL Jeff sent is above the... Okay, cool. All right. You bought Blues Comping. Looking forward to it. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, man. Thanks, Richard. You bought the Blues Comping. Thank you very much. T-shirts. Yes, I'm going to work on all that stuff. I've been getting some really nice help from some YouTubers who've been like Brett and some other people, and 5-watt World. Keith Williams. I've been talking to Keith. He's been super helpful, and thank you for chiming in. And it's awesome that you're here. And so yeah, I'm digging into it. And, all right, so this finishes up. Do any of your courses deal with pentatonics in depth? No, not yet. And like I said, we're starting to expand out, and I'll have a course on this kind of stuff as well. So now all my TrueFire courses are on sale, 25% off. If you want any of those, you just use that link there. If you buy them through our website, it is really great for any musician. Once again, thank you for everybody hit the tip jar. It really means a lot. Thank you. And like I said a million times, I'm turning it back around, and hopefully everything looks better. And we'll come by. We'll get some picks and mugs, and I get picks made and T-shirts and all those sorts of things. But this is all happening really quickly. And it's funny. Like as I think we're all experiencing with this horribleness, especially in New York, where the number of people who have passed away is unbelievably high. As of yesterday, like 11,000 in New York City. So I try to keep the world, my life in perspective when, it takes me 5 days to get an HDMI cable through Amazon. You know what I mean? So perspective is everything on this kind of stuff. So once again, I really appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully this makes the day go better. So Saturday at 11 a.m., I'm going to have Mark Lettieri, which I'm totally looking forward to. And that guy is so good. It's unbelievable. So I just won't play guitar on that one at all. And then following week, it is the excellent Joey Landreth is coming on. I'm psyched about that. And following that is Scott Sherrard. I'm sure I can get Andy. I'm sure Andy Alador would do it. Josh Smith is up the line. Robin Ford. Sonny Landreth said he would do it. I just got to call Sonny and double check. So thanks, everybody. You know, and anybody who has any questions in terms of subjects you'd like me to cover, you're happy to do that as well. So until Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I will see you then. And thanks again, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. Take care.